Welcome to Nacho Fitness Coach.
This is Nacho Ordinary Fitness Podcast.
I'm Sarah, and I'm Nacho Typical Fitness Expert.
And I'm Caleigh, and I'm Nacho Average Fitness Beginner.
We're here to spice up your fitness journey
with some humor, a little knowledge, and a couple glasses of wine.
We're here to prove that getting fit doesn't have to suck.
So whether you're a seasoned athlete or a couch potato,
we've got some tips, tricks, and unconventional advice for you.
Let's redefine fitness together
and learn to balance fitness and fun. So, Caleigh.
Yes, ma'am.
I think you and I are both very excited about this conversation.
We are really excited.
Yeah. Yay. So we have Jonica Bullock with us for this episode. And we first had the opportunity to meet her when Caleigh, primarily, I just tagged along, did her interview for her Love with the Fitbod app. Mm-hmm. So Jonica is one of the three hosts that if you had an opportunity to listen to their podcast episode where we were guests, she is now with us joining on Nacho Fitness Coach. So we're super excited to have her. Hi, Jonica.
Thank you guys so much for having me. Yes, we met when you guys came on to Built, presented by Fitbod. Mm-hmm. So yes, I am somewhat of a podcaster as well, and that list of other things that I say I like to do.
Yeah, which we all wear many hats, and you've got quite a few. So, so Jonica's a mom. And she was a fitness enthusiast turned personal trainer. And so we did have a chance to talk to her a little bit about that, I think, when we were guests, her history in that area. But now she's venturing into the world of food prep, which is an area that we need help.
We're struggling. I mean, with the meal prep.
Yeah.
But she started, so I follow like your socials, just on all the things. And she started posting like just her own personal, like Sunday night, hey, just did this. And I was like drooling. And you know me, like, I don't even like.
You hate vegetables.
I hate vegetables. But she would post these in a way that they were like, remember that time I showed you? And I was like, look at this. It's beautiful.
Yes.
It's gorgeous. So just like aesthetically, but the thing that
did it make you want to eat it?
It did. It really did.
It's impressive.
I still haven't yet, but I'm going to. But the thing was like, it's funny because with aesthetically pleasing food prep or like healthy food prep is I always hear people saying stuff like, I just made this mushroom garbanzo bean, situation, and it tastes just like cheesecake. No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
So I'm always really skeptical of how
healthy. Flavorful it actually is. Like it looks good and it's healthy, but is it super flavorful? Yeah. And yours looks flavorful.
Yours looks very good. And the jars. I love the jars.
I feel like it is. I love the jars too. And I am a huge advocate for making your food prep look appetizing. I don't think anybody wants to come 4 days later and open something and be like, I have to eat that. So I know it's really silly to make it so presentable. And I don't think I go over the top and spend a ton of time, but I think it is important to lay those in. And sometimes laying them out is actually part of helping them to preserve and to stay fresher over the course of the week. But I think it's important that things look really appetizing because you want to eat it. Like you want to eat it.
Well,
and
if you made it on Sunday,
to not dismiss that.
Right. If you made it on Sunday and you're going to pull it out of the fridge on Wednesday, like at the very least, make it look good. Sometimes that's all you got.
Exactly.
Sometimes I feel like that's why I eat vegetables so much better at restaurants is because it's that chef presentation of it when it comes out on your plate. It just looks so much more desirable to want to attack. So, all right. So I saw the one post and I do follow you on social too, but I also try to not spend as much time on social media
as I do.
Caleigh definitely has me beat there for sure. So share with me and the listeners what you've been doing on social media then I guess that caught her eye and kind of what you're up to then with regards to how you got started wanting to, whether it was client conversations or just personal interest, like how'd you get into this food prep advocating, if you will?
Well, I mean, there's lots to go back. So I won't go back to the very, very, very beginning. But I will say that I started a Facebook group that was kind of a spin-off of the weightlifting app that we use, Fitbod. And I started a group because I just wanted people to have a place to have that conversation. The community page that revolves around the Fitbod app focuses mostly kind of on what goes on in the gym, like mostly kind of the working out and the lifting and the questions about technique and how much weight I should add and what exercise would be good for this. And, there wasn't really a dedicated spot on that page for the food conversation. And I'm a huge, huge, huge believer and a huge advocate for the fact that nutrition needs to be a huge part of the conversation when we are talking about health and fitness.
Yeah.
We all know that you cannot go into the gym and expect miracles if we are never going to address what's happening outside of the gym. Yeah. And that a big part of that is the nutrition. So I started a page just simply for us to start to share. And it has grown very, very, very quickly. I wasn't necessarily meal prepping at the time when I started that Fitbod Foodies page. That's the name of the Facebook page, the Fitbod Foodies. I wasn't actually meal prepping at that time. My situation was a little bit different. I was still married at that time. I was a stay-at-home mom. I was working, in the home, and so I kind of had the luxury of kind of food prepping on the go. And since that inception of that starting, I actually have gone through divorce. And am on my own now. My kids are grown and out of the house, and I was by myself. And kind of a sad story, but I actually my desire to food prep actually started out of being actually really, really lonely on Sunday night. Sunday night felt like really very quiet. There wasn't really a lot going on. People were always like getting ready to go to work, and I felt really kind of like I wanted to fill my time doing something productive. Sure. And something that would be good for me and help me throughout the week. So I started actually so that it would busy myself on a Sunday evening when I really felt like I had nothing else to do. And sad, isn't it?
It's
lame.
I mean, I'm I don't know how to transition. I know, sorry. I just Sundays though can be a very popular day that people do choose to food prep. You had your reasons that you got into it.
I think a lot of people, to even a kind of a bigger issue of like people who are experiencing emptiness syndrome or going through, those big changes in your life, where I think that's where fitness in general, I think, comes into play a lot of times. It's like you still need a purpose. You still need something to do. You can, you can sit on your couch and just wither away and be sad, or you can, get up and do something.
Well, and I think the relatable part of that is I also was moving from a stage of life where I had been prepping and making meals for a family.
Yeah.
And now I was a one person, and I was like, I found myself maybe not doing as much of that, like meal cooking or, those kind of more elaborate things that I wanted to be able to eat.
Yeah.
But it felt like a lot of work to go to for just one person. So when you think of that idea of creating a recipe and then you're splitting that up into 5, 7 portions, whatever it is that you're doing, it allows you then to get back into that joy and that love of cooking, even when it's just for yourself, because it feels like a lot of work, honestly, when it's just you eating. It feels like, like this seems like a lot of ingredients to go to the trouble of grabbing. And but if you kind of look at it week to week, and a lot of my food prep that I like to do, I like to be able to freeze portions of it so that I can create variety. A lot of people's hesitation around food prepping, I think, comes around eating the same thing every day for a whole week. People are like, I don't want to do that. But if you do it on a regular basis, and you start to freeze portions very quickly, you can get to the point where you have 7 different meals for that week because you've pulled out of your stock in the fridge, in the freezer. So it's a good way to kind of create some variety, but still feel like you can kind of take the time to put together those big recipes that you might not do just for yourself when you get home from work.
Yeah.
I love freezing.
She does. Sarah loves to put a meal in the freezer.
I do love that.
She loves to put half a candy bar in the freezer and save it for later.
I will save it for later because I'm all about just the little bits here and there. But, I think a lot of people experience that though, going through that transition in life where they're cooking for a big group of people or a family, and then transition. I know my parents went through that it was like, okay, I'm not cooking for 5 anymore. It was like, and that slowly when you start kicking kids out the house or whatever, but you do hit that point where you're like, okay, the way I cooked for years, it's different now. But I will also argue on the flip side.
I was going to say.
I get a lot of clients that have always been like, I want a recipe. I want a recipe.
Oh, that's
like,
not what I was going to say.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, Caleigh's going to take that one down a different path. So put a pin in that one.
Okay.
Put a pin. We'll go there. But like sometimes the way you prep food individually for like health related or fitness goals, sometimes that's the way your kids should be eating anyways.
Okay. Yeah, that is what I was going to say.
It is. Okay. Well, or you know what I mean? Like sometimes people make recipes overly complicated and think they've got to have something that's like, you know, very intense and it takes an hour to prep and they're doing all of these very intricate, fancy recipes. And I'm like, but you can also, kids will eat really simple stuff too. Like you can just pull some stuff out of the freezer.
That's always
and just
been
put
my
it on a plate
issue when I start thinking about doing meal prepping for myself. It's like, I have a husband and 2 kids, little kids at home. And I'm like, how do I, you know, Sarah's all about like, well, they eat what you eat. If that's what you're making, that's what they're eating. And I'm like, I don't know what kind of fantasy life you live.
I don't make different meals for my kids. And I mean, that actually might be a personal pet peeve of mine is when women do that because you should not be making something separate for yourself. Like if you are going on a health journey and you're eating something specific to be healthier, guess what? Everyone in your house should probably be eating that too.
That's valid.
I'm just saying. So I don't know. I don't want to like put you, but that's just my personal opinion, I guess. So
I'm a huge believer in creating healthy options in a family style meal. Okay. So I never wanted to be the person that was creating a special meal just for me and then everybody else was eating something else that was really yummy or a better option. But I am a believer in kind of breaking that meal down and creating healthy options for everyone to then choose portions according to how you want to be eating. So, you know, as kids, you might not care about, you know, how many grams of protein you're getting or, you know, you might be able to be burning off a bigger portion of carbs in your diet. But if you're able to all load your plate with the same ingredients, the things at the meal, just in different proportions, that's the way I believe you can be successful as a family doing this. That you can teach them how to eat healthy. You can teach them how to, okay, mom's cutting a couple of carbs. I'm looking for a little bit more protein. So I'm loading my plate up first with the protein. And then I'm having a large side of salad and I'm just having a little bit of that white rice. That's how my plate is done up. It might look different than theirs, but it's still the same ingredients.
Well, and that's another thing is I've always tried to be careful, especially with 2 little girls, is to not lead them to believe that like mom is on a diet, you know, and mom has to eat other special things that are not as good as whatever, you know, you get to eat. Like mom has to suffer because she's on a diet or, you know, it's just like, that's a really toxic way of.
I feel like if we flash back to a year ago, you did not have cake at Ty's birthday party because
I was intermittent fasting.
That's a whole nother topic.
Which is a valid form of calorie restriction.
Is it valid? Yeah. Okay. I'm totally giving her a hard time.
Prove me wrong.
We just have a history of a story where, so actually just at like a year ago, because we just had his birthday party again, we had a morning birthday for my then 4-year-old. And so it was like 9 to like 11 because little kids have early birthday parties. They're up.
My kids have early birthday parties.
And so we were cutting cake at like 10 a.m. and she looks at me in the middle of the party and she was like, who eats cake at this time
whoa
of day?
She said, would you like cake? I said, no, thank you. I'm intermittent fasting.
She was like, who does this? I'm like, I do. It's fine.
So that's kind of our funny story.
That is
so silly.
I'm sorry. I took us down like a hard left turn there on that one. But okay, back to food prep. Well, actually, that might be a good opportunity for us to like take a quick little ad break so we can bring it back on track.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for listening. This is show producer, Audio Allen. While the girls are taking a break, like, follow, and subscribe. And stick around. We'll be right back.
Okay. All right. Now we're back on track. We're talking with Jonica.
Jonica hung up.
I'm out.
I'm still here.
These girls are crazy. She is talking about food prep and specifically about food prep, her kind of plan and process. So when you first started then now doing the Sunday night food prep and sharing it with people, what were some of the things that you started doing that you feel like people really started latching onto that was helpful?
Just love ideas. I think people are inspired to see what other people are doing. I I wanted to start sharing my journey also to have a little bit of transparency and honesty, because eating really healthy and the way that I dive into it is there's a lot of repetition. Okay, like I am not reinventing the wheel every single time I go to have a breakfast, every single time I go to have a lunch. Like that is not the reality of our lives. We are busy and we are trying to fit healthy eating into amongst all the other things that we are tackling in our lives. Mm-hmm. So I am not recreating these grandiose. So part of me wanted to start sharing it so that people could see. I had a lot of go-tos that I eat on a very regular basis, and I might switch up flavors or, little things here and there. But a lot of my breakfasts and my lunches and my snacks are very, very much the same thing, day in, day out, week in, week out. And I think that there needs to be an honesty in that. So for me, a lot of my variety was coming in what I was doing for my dinners, and I was splitting them up. And people always want to know what I'm eating. I live my life in a very constant state. My weight does not fluctuate a ton. I'm not a bulk and a cut. I'm not like gaining weight and losing weight for certain occasions. I am in a constant state of basically living my life in a very lean manner. And people want to know what it is that I'm doing. And I feel like I've kind of found a secret, because it's not all that hard for me. I'm not weighing and measuring everything. Yeah. I'm not obsessing over every meal that I have, but I have figured out how to eyeball and to make things that are quick and easy for me to go to, that I know I'm getting a lot of protein. I know I'm not getting a ton of carbs. I know approximate calorie count on the things that I'm eating. And those things are quick and easy for me to go to. And I just wanted to share some of the variety that I'm finding through the dinners that I'm enjoying as well.
Now, how did you get to the point where you can eyeball things?
Well, you guys keep asking me about these like downer subjects. Okay, I'm not sure if you know, Sarah, but actually, I don't even know if you know, Caleigh. I shared it on the podcast and in the group many times, but I actually had an eating disorder for years. And I actually had that eating disorder crop up again when I was a mom with 3 small children. And I was really obsessing over every single thing that I put in my mouth. I was obsessing over how I used exercise to an unhealthy point. And I was basically trying to burn off through my exercise every single thing that I ingested. And it was obsessive for me. So the obsessing over that for years, unfortunately, educated me very well. I know serving sizes. I know calorie counts. I know things that are high calorie. I know things that are low calorie. And I've learned how to turn that into something that's really, really positive for me. People that don't have that knowledge or that education, I always recommend, it's really important to educate yourself, to start by logging and measuring. And I don't think you need to do that for life. That is mind numbing, and I'm not into that, and I don't advocate that. But initially, you need to be able to wrap your head around what is a healthy serving size, how many calories, how much protein am I getting in this amount of that food. And I think if you do it for a little while, you will really quickly start to educate yourself. And that's where you can then kind of peel back and start to have a little bit more freedom in it. You still need to be vigilant about what you're eating, but you don't need to kind of obsess over that measuring and counting and weighing everything, I don't think.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, because I never cared what I ate, what I put in my body. And then once I did start counting and measuring, it was really a double-edged sword, because I was like, on the one hand, I am gaining the knowledge of like, oh, this is, how much calories or whatever, which is stuff I never cared about before. But I can see how people can go down that slope on the other end of it, of like obsessing over it. So,
but I also feel like I don't know what a shortcut is to just automatically be able to eyeball portions. So I'm also at the point, like with you, Jonica, where I can eyeball portions. Yeah. I mean, I know about what 25 grams of protein are in chicken versus ground beef, and how much rice I would need versus vegetables. I mean, I can eyeball things, but I went through so mine was through fitness competitions. And so I spent at least a solid 6 months where I was measuring everything. I was weighing things. I was following a specific plan. And what I don't know is if it's possible to shortcut that out of it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that education and that learning is absolutely part of it. Sometimes you just are going to have to like focus and get through it, because I don't know that there's a shortcut for that. I don't know that you can skip over that tracking and measuring. I think if automatically be able to eyeball
if we
stuff.
just bring more awareness to that tracking and measuring can I mean, and maybe for a certain kind of person, I don't know, but that it can lead to eating disorders and things like that. Because
Or
I
it
think,
can't. I mean, or it doesn't.
but it can. And
True.
so I think people need to be aware of that when they go into, when they've never done it before. And they're like, you need to be aware of how much you're eating or what's, you know, but also be careful.
No, it's education.
Yeah.
That you're trying to acquire a lifelong skill.
Right.
That makes it
that is
easier
important.
for you.
That's very important, but be careful.
Down the road.
But I think a really easy way to kind of do that is to, rather than doing a serving spoon, start serving with measuring cups. Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, start by just throwing some measuring cups into the rice or into the, you know, the vegetables or into that salad or whatever it is that you're portioning out, and start to just recognize how much, you know, a half cup of rice is about that much. And how many learn how many calories does that have? Like, I think one of the ways or one of the joys of meal prepping is you're putting stuff into preset container sizes, and you're doing it all at one setting. So it's pretty easy to go, okay, I'm going to do a half a cup of rice in each of those cups, and then you're in each of your containers, and that's what you're eating when it comes time to it. So, you know, you have a chicken breast and you cook so many, and, you know, you throw that in the container as well. So I think having consistency in the containers and the portions that we're putting, you know, when we're sitting down to actually prep all of that food helps us to kind of get a handle on that and be able to kind of eyeball things a little bit. But I do believe that we all want to get to a place where we have freedom in eating. And that doesn't mean we eat without consequences, but it means that we don't have it like to go through and to recover from an eating disorder. I had food on my brain all the time. I was constantly tracking what I was eating, what was in my system, how hungry I was, how many calories are there. Like there's no freedom in your mind at that point when you are struggling with something like that. And I think we all want to get to the point where we have an education and we have a little bit of freedom. We trust ourselves to make the best choices. We're not logging obsessively. We're not going overboard with it. But we are also still being very accountable and moving in the direction of the goals that we have for ourselves. I think that's really a very empowering thing to get to that place of freedom, but also see success in our lives as we move towards a health and fitness journey.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite go-to breakfast?
That's changed recently.
Oh.
Okay. Not really changed. Okay. So a couple of I always like to say there's like some standard meals. Okay. So I love Greek yogurt and fruit. That's like a go-to for me. And to me, a lot of these can kind of like intermix. So I can eat Greek yogurt and fruit for breakfast. I can eat it for lunch. I can eat it for a snack. To me, there's ease in that. I went through a real kick where I did a lot of overnight oats. Or adding protein powder to some overnight oats. I had a whole bunch of different flavors like chocolate peanut butter, or I would do like a mocha, or I would do like, you know, raisin cinnamon version, or I went through a lot of those. But I'm actually really, really set right now on egg bites. Eggs have been my go-to. And I'm actually really, really enjoying and feeling very satiated throughout my entire morning. I found with oats, or sometimes with even with the Greek yogurt, I felt hungry again pretty quickly. And I find when I'm eating, I usually do 2 egg bites in a protein wrap. And I feel like I am satiated all morning long. And sometimes I mix it up a little bit. Sometimes I'll do like hard boiled eggs. Sometimes I'll do egg bites with like different variations of whatever you put, you know, in your omelets, you know, roasted red peppers or some ham and a little bit of cheese or whatever, to kind of give me a little bit of variety. But eggs have really been my go-to lately, and they just seem to keep me full. And I love getting a good chunk of protein at the first meal of my day so that I'm really set up well for the rest of the day's success with that protein that I'm always trying to get.
And you're doing full eggs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of do a mix.
Okay.
Often if I'm making egg bites, if I'm making a sheet of 12 egg bites, I'll do 6 eggs, and I'll beat those up and spread them amongst my muffin tins. And then I'll top off with egg whites, because I always have egg whites on hand as well. I find that that's a good way to kind of increase the protein and really keep the calories in a place that's very manageable for me. So even when I'm doing like a sunny side up egg or a couple of sunny side up eggs, eggs don't have a ton of calories. Like I shouldn't stress over it, but often I like to kind of like bulk up the protein without kind of having too much. I mean, an egg literally has like 70 to 80 calories. Like we really need to like relax a little bit when it comes to the eggs, but I will top them up with some egg whites is usually kind of how I'll just bump up that protein for myself.
But that does help increase the protein without increasing the fats. Cause we've talked about how fat grams have a higher calorie count than protein. And so that protein that's going to leave you more satiated. So as long as you're increasing that is where the fats can get you very quickly over a calorie level that maybe you're going for. So, but you did actually bring up a really interesting point because you mentioned your Greek yogurt. And you said you have it for like breakfast or lunch or snack or whatever. And I think one thing that I know helped me when I first started really meal prepping back in the day and like changing kind of my overall pattern of the way I was eating was I stopped looking at foods specifically for like certain meals. So like no longer did what I always used to consider only a breakfast food was only allowed in the morning. Yeah. Like I would eat something that I would typically eat for breakfast. It could be a mid-morning snack or lunch or even dinner. So like I started scrapping the terms of like breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack. And I was like meal 1, 2, 3, and 4, because that gave me the freedom to be like, I can actually choose any food to eat right now.
It's all a construct anyway.
And that's true. You can go to your fridge of meals and pull out whatever you want. That's one of the reasons I love eggs. I feel like most people, society thinks eggs are okay at any of those meals. So even if you don't want to just call it meal 1, 2, or 3, eggs work for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or they're a good snack. You know, like, and I think it's important for people to kind of, like you were saying, look at them as meals. I think it's important every time we eat to look at and kind of treat it like a meal, even if it's sort of like a snack. Like I want you to think about, am I getting protein in this snack? You know, how many carbs am I having in this snack? As we eat protein and have a little bit of fat in the things that we're eating, it helps us to remain satiated. It helps us to slow down that digestion process so we're not having those spikes in our blood sugar levels, creating cravings and, you know, those crashes that we feel during the day. So there's a lot of merit to treating things. And every time we look at what we're eating, think of it as fuel. Think of it as a meal that we're putting into our body as fuel. And what are we actually consuming in that moment? I think it's important.
Yep.
I just heard protein out of that whole, I was like, yes, I agree.
That's always the message.
As always. You have a granola bar for snack? Great. Where's your protein shake? Like, or your couple hard-boiled eggs. Like, that's a snack, but it doesn't make it a meal. Think meal and get the protein in there.
Your protein shake.
Yeah, something that's got protein in it because it helps you a lot. A lot. So, okay. Then you said you mix it up a lot at dinner. What's some of your things that you then mix in? And that's where you give yourself the flexibility. Then it sounds like a little bit. So what's your go-to, like most favorite dinner right now?
Oh, I don't know if I have a most favorite one. I try really to get quite creative. And when you're planning kind of a week at a time, it helps you to kind of, you know, think about, okay, what did I do last week? I need to do something different. And I like to do like a lot of like comfort foods. Like it's getting cold here this week and I'm like planning out my week and I'm like, ooh, I want something, you know, warm and hearty. And last week I made a like split pea soup with some of the ham leftovers that I had from Christmas. And so that was my, I also made this like loaf out of cottage cheese and did you guys see that on my social media?
I did.
Oh my gosh.
Kaleigh did.
I was like, I bet that tastes like cheesecake.
Oh, no. It's so good. It is so dense. It's like eating a bagel. It is like eating a bagel with a crusty outside and a dense, chewy inside with all the seeds in there. Anyways, I ate that with my split pea lentil soup. This week, I'm doing a protein pasta. I love that I found pastas that actually have a ton of protein in them.
Yeah.
So I'll cook up a marinara sauce. I'll stretch it out with, you know, like some diced tomatoes. And I'll put that over like a bed of cottage cheese with a little bit of Parmesan cheese in it, some chili flakes, put my pasta on there. It all melts. It's like gooey. That dish strings, that cheese strings when it's melted.
I could get into that. I can get into that.
So yummy.
I'm so hungry right now.
So yummy. It tastes like lasagna.
Oh, yum.
I'm always hungry.
Yum.
So
always hungry.
Going to be this week. I try to keep it, you know, things that I want. I always try to find flavors that maybe I'm craving. So it's like, am I craving some like Asian flavors this week? Like, do I want to do like a big veggie stir fry? You know, am I craving something that's a little bit more of like a comfort food? Do I want like a soup or a stew? I always try to find like healthy versions of those flavors that I'm craving so that I'm kind of getting a well-rounded. I don't want to just always have like a dry piece of chicken on some like plain rice or quinoa. Like to me, that is just like so boring.
Yeah.
So I like curries. I love stews. I love, you know, Asian flavors. I love, I did like some fajitas, some deconstructed fajitas a couple weeks back where I just kind of did like beef with a whole bunch of veggies in it and, had some Greek yogurt on it. And it was just kind of all Mexican flavors. Like to me, I just want to be able to enjoy all of those flavors in a really healthy way and keep it fresh and keep it like exciting. I don't want to eat the same thing every week for dinner for sure.
So I love idea of food prep. I mean, it's good to have a plan. It's good to be able to stay on track and do all of the things. I also, though, am interested in knowing if you have a plan of attack if you go out to eat. Because surely you end up at restaurants occasionally. Yeah. So what's your plan there?
Well, okay. I think learning how to order when you're out at a restaurant is an art. And so there's two plans of attack that I have. I don't eat out a ton. I love to cook. I am a huge foodie and I love to cook and I love to eat my own food, actually. Like I really enjoy the things that I prepare. I love cooking for other people. So I enjoy what I eat. When I go out to dinner, there's two plans. So one is I am just going to go and I'm just going to enjoy. Okay. I am not going to calorie count. I am not going to like obsess. I'm not going to, I am just going to enjoy this meal. Cause to me, one meal in the scheme of all the things that I do, if I'm going and I'm paying and I want to just really enjoy it, I will enjoy it completely guilt-free. I remind people if you are going to enjoy something, if you're going to like feast or whatever, I don't call it a feast, but if you are going to go off your eating plan, please just enjoy it. Okay. It's actually healthier for us. There's a different hormone response when we have guilt over the things that we eat. It's a different the way we process the calories, all of those things. So, but then I also feel like there is an art to learning how to eat out and to order, because there are subtle changes that you can make to preset meals that will really help to cut down on the calories or to increase the protein. I'm always looking to kind of find that balance between protein and calories. Okay. That's my goal. That's the way that I eat. And that's the way that I find balance. So for me, it's often not looking at the salad. A lot of people think that they go to the salads and they're like, oh, I'll be healthy. I'm going to order a salad today. And I remember my brother, he worked in restaurants for years. And I remember him telling me that there was this, I don't know if it was a study or if it was just someone had gone to restaurants and actually broken down, and salads were the biggest offenders of fat and calories on a lot of menus because there's so many extras in them. There's so much dressing. There's, candied nuts. There's bacon. There's cheese. There's often a lot of things that we think are healthy because it's billed as a salad. So I will often go to the main course. I will often order a protein. So I'll get a steak or I'll get a cut of chicken or, I'll order my protein. And then I'll often ask for like a double side of veggies. Okay. So a protein at a restaurant will usually come with like potatoes, or it'll come with rice, or it'll come with some sort of carb on the side, which is often, in my estimation, a pretty empty carb. It's usually like white rice. It's usually like cheesy potatoes or whatever it is that, fries. I don't do fries, anything like that. So I'll often ask for just a double serving of the vegetables that would normally come on that plate. So then I end up having a great cut of meat. If they want to do a sauce, if it's sauce, whatever it is, I will usually order it straight from the menu. And then I just have the rest of my plate is veggies. And to me, that's super easy. If I'm going out and I want to have a burger, I'll cut out the bun and I'll have it lettuce wrapped. And often I will enjoy it just as it comes off the menu. I want to have that cheese, and there's a slice of bacon on it. And, but that allows me to eat. And I don't feel like I'm sacrificing a lot. I feel like I'm able to kind of stick to my eating in a loose way. And like I said, I don't eat out a ton. So there is a little bit of freedom there. If you are eating out on a regular basis, you really need to get smart at figuring out and reading ingredients on the menu and figuring out, okay, I need to cut that out. I'm not going to have that. I'm going to substitute it with this. And most restaurants are pretty good about making substitutions nowadays. Even most fast food restaurants, you can order a lot healthier than you think, even at a fast food restaurant.
Yep. Just smile nice and say please. Yeah. But they can. They accommodate. I mean, they accommodate allergies and, all kinds of things. And so don't be afraid to ask for sure. And it's okay. Just, smile and be nice about it and just ask for what you want. And it's totally fine because you can make it happen for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I don't think it has to be an excuse of why, you're derailed. I think we can find ways to order off the menu that can stay in alignment with the goals that we have for ourselves in that department. So
Yep, absolutely. All right, now what about vegetables? Because we know Caleigh loves vegetables. They're like her thing. And I don't know if I said that sarcastically enough, but I mean, sometimes she just eats an entire plate.
And I guess that would kind of be my question overall is like meal prepping for picky people, because it feels like a lot of times you get into these really healthy, elaborate, meal prepping, and it's like, I'm just not going to eat a lot of that.
You need to grow up. That worked when you were 3.
I can't.
And even then, it doesn't work with my 2 and 4 year old.
I like what I like.
Tell her, Jonica, that she needs to try new things. See?
Yeah.
Make it flavorful. Like if you were just looking at plain raw veggies and trying to convince yourself that you want to eat that plate of raw veggies. No, but okay, like I make a red lentil curry that is full of vegetables. Full of vegetables. And it is delicious. It is spicy. It is like savory. It's hearty and filling. And to me, like I just feel like I like to amp things up. Vegetables are such a freebie. I would never track the calories on veggies.
Agreed.
If you want to eat all the cauliflower, the broccoli, the carrots, the snap peas, the radishes, you go too. You do. But I will load up like a spaghetti sauce. I will put a ton. I'll keep up some zucchini. I'll put some mushrooms in there. I'll put some peppers. I want to bulk it up because I want to eat a big serving of whatever it is that I'm eating. So if half of that is veggies that I'm not even having to account for, to me, it's just easy to spice them up. Like in a marinara sauce, are you really going to taste that pepper? Like,
no. See,
it might add a little bit of flavor, but
it is just like a toddler then. You just got to hide it. You got to hide the veggies.
Listen, Jonica.
You are just a toddler.
Jonica, I want to be you when I grow up. Like, you are amazing. I love everything that comes out of your mouth. I love everything that you post. Like, you are goals for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a ways.
You know what? That is your next goal, is just to do what she says.
Okay.
So what is your list you go to? What is your list? Give me your list.
My list of what?
Of things that you won't, veggies
that I won't eat
with. Like,
all of them.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe the list would be shorter if we just start with the ones that she will eat.
Sarah, settle down. I won't eat mushrooms. I won't eat bell peppers. I won't eat green chilies. Those are my absolute no.
Okay. There's a lot of other veggies outside of those 3 things.
There are, and
lot.
that's like red.
What about okra?
I don't think I've ever had that, because then there's a whole nother section of vegetables that I've never even tried. So those could go either way.
So there you go.
Start the other one. Beets.
They're so good.
I've never tried beets before.
You won't do beets?
I've never tried them.
Oh, you should try them.
God,
you know what's a really yummy way to do beets?
I love your face. That was awesome.
There's a blueberry beet protein smoothie that is to die for. You put frozen beets in with frozen blueberries and some vanilla protein powder, and you put your almonds, and you can add a little bit of sweetener to it. It is so yummy. It makes them taste sweet. It's delicious. It's absolutely delicious.
That sounds delicious.
I'll try it. I'll give it a try.
She said frozen, so it's easy too. Like that's a good smoothie because you got frozen beets.
Yeah, you don't have to
frozen blueberries. Yeah, you don't have to prep anything. You just get it out of the freezer, throw it in your blender with some vanilla.
You can buy beets frozen.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. They're you don't want to mess with them otherwise. I mean, you can do they're messy. They're staining. They're very messy. So buy them all already taken care of.
I don't need any more mess in my life.
In your blueberry smoothie.
See,
you'll love it. You'll love it.
That is a great tip.
I'll try it. I'll report back. But I am. That's what's hard for me is I am very picky, and I like to make excuses for why I have a hard time eating healthy.
You just need someone to introduce you to things, to push you outside of your comfort zone. So,
that's why,
make it a goal to just try one new thing.
I've sat down and watched your videos of where you're doing your food prep, and I'm like, she makes this look so fun and easy. I can do this.
Yeah, you can.
If Jonica can do it,
yes, you can.
I can do it.
You can totally do it. Okay, so you guys have both referenced.
Maybe I need to start sharing more.
Yes.
Doing what?
Share more.
Oh, maybe.
So you both have referenced your Instagram. So do you want to share what your handle is so that people can find you, Jonica?
Yeah, all of this, I feel like there is a divine path for all of us. Like when I started sharing this food and when I picked my Instagram handle, I picked lift heavy, eats well. Okay. Because I wanted to kind of show the two sides of that. So I love lifting. I love heavy lifting. I think every woman needs to fall in love with heavy weightlifting. And then I also really like to eat well. So that was what I and then I started sharing the food journey on the Fitbod Foodies page. And it has just evolved. I had no idea where it was going to go or what I was going to do with all of these little parts of myself that I was developing and so passionate about. But I just started sharing them. And so just recently, and guys, this is where my weaknesses are on full display. I just recently started a YouTube page, Lift Heavy Eats Well, as a YouTube page where I am sharing. I offered a class to my Fitbod Foodies page where people could come. I would give them a grocery list of all the things that they would need. And we would actually step by step go through a full food prep class together. And I ran that on a Sunday night. I had a full class of ladies that wanted to participate. They had all done their grocery shopping. We got together. We all prepped because there's a little bit of an art to it. There's timing. Yep. There's multitasking. There's keeping your area clean and your space. Your workspace, clear of clutter. And so I walked them through from beginning to end, and they all went away with a bunch of really great meals. And I wanted to show that it was easy. It doesn't take hours and hours. We were done within about an hour and 40 minutes. We had a week's worth of meals. And I just was trying to decide, okay, how can I share this on a more regular basis? Yeah. And so I've ventured into the world of YouTube, which I am completely underwater. I will tell you, I am a believer that just because we're good at one part of something, it doesn't mean that we're good at everything. And when I'm going into something like this, I'm really good at the food prep. I'm really good at eating healthy. I'm really good at wanting to share that message with people. I am struggling definitely with the technical aspects of editing and getting videos out there, but I am learning as I'm going. And I have had so much support from the people who have followed me from the beginning of the Fitbod Foodies page. They are the only people that are following on there because I probably don't know how to have anyone else find me. But, they are really enjoying, and it's just where I can walk people through recipes. There's often like little tidbits that aren't on the recipe that it's like, oh, well, if we do this, it makes it easier. Or if you do it this way, it will help. And so I've just started to share videos of the recipes that I'm making, the healthy things that I'm venturing into, and the things that I'm just like really enjoying. And people have been great. They have just like embraced it. I've been so lucky. I have really, really good supporters.
That's awesome.
I'm very lucky that way.
And you had sent me we had talked about the grocery list, and you were like, give me your email. So, and you sent me this beautiful come food prep with me. Oh my God, Jonica, this is gorgeous. I love you.
So do you share that with people too then to this grocery list? Like if they find you somehow?
Just people she likes.
Okay,
like
only
me.
you. Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to.
Okay,
but
let me tell you one of the challenges. No idea the challenge of uploading an almost hour and 45-minute long video.
Oh, we do.
My brain doesn't comprehend that. I'm like, why is this a problem? What is this a problem? So I have shared a couple of long form videos on YouTube. I need to figure out how to better go through that process. But yes, in the comments, I give a grocery list.
Yeah.
Because I want people to use it as a step by step.
But it's not just a grocery list.
Pleasure.
That's what I want to say here is this is not what you sent me is not just a grocery list. You have the menu laid out with pictures. Yeah. The essentials, which is just like everything.
Spices.
No, everything that you need. Like,
okay.
Muffin pans, air fryer, cutting boards. Like,
got it.
Like, duh, but like, thank you. Like, yes. Sometimes I need some things just laid out for me.
Sometimes?
Right in front of me.
All the time.
Insider tips. Start with a clean kitchen.
That's great.
Like, duh, but
still.
I wouldn't have if she didn't say that. She even told me to pour myself a glass of wine.
I love it because it's a beginner's guide.
Well, she said prep. Your favorite drink, so same thing.
She's like, wait a second, I did not tell you to do that.
but then a full full grocery list,
right?
The full grocery list and the recipes. Like this is a dream. I love it. I love this.
So that's awesome. So this is a great place to start. So find Jonica on Instagram or YouTube. Lift Heavy,
you were telling me. I'm like,
well.
I already found her.
Not you. Anyone that's listening. The one person that listens to our podcast on a regular basis.
I think we're up to 8.
You know what? You have the opportunity to share this information with 8 new people. And it's great information. Caleigh's in love with it.
I'm excited about it. And it's funny because I'm like, oh no, I won't eat anything with mushrooms in it. But I'm stoked about what you're doing. And there's something about it that makes me feel like I could do it too, which is kind of a big deal.
You can, or you will do it.
I don't know yet.
Oh, okay.
You know, let's get through the holidays.
Let's not do too many. It's past the holidays yet. We are long past the holidays.
I'm always just
you can't say that anymore.
I'm always just trying to get through the holidays.
I'm just 365. There's a new holiday.
Well, and that's one of the things I wanted to make very clear as I do these videos. I don't have all my ingredients beautifully measured out in matching bowls already just to like pour in. Like, to me, I feel like there's something really fabricated about that, and it makes it feel really unattainable to people. So it is literally a video of me reaching through my cupboard, grabbing the things that I need, putting them on the counter, cleaning them up as I go, you know,
I love it,
making mistakes, like dropping things, like going, oh, I need a measuring cup and I don't have that one, or where I can't find it, or whatever, you know, like it is me stumbling through the process because I think there's something real about that. I think it's beautiful to watch somebody, you know, in this like Zen kitchen with everything like perfect.
Right.
But I think for a lot of people, they're like, I don't have time for that, you know? So to me, if you scoop right out of the bag, you pour it into the bowl, we're going to move you through the process quickly and show you that it's reasonable. And there's no excuse really for you not to do it, because it's just a grab and go. Like, buy the ingredients on the grocery list and walk yourself through with the video, and you will thank yourself. You will be so grateful. I was so neglectful over the holidays. Okay, Christmas fell on Sunday and New Year's Eve fell on Sunday as well.
Yeah.
So I didn't do a dedicated food prep for 2 weeks, and I missed it so much. I missed just being able to open the fridge and grab something healthy and just pull it out. So like, I worked a couple of days between Christmas and New Year's, and I was like really disappointed that I didn't have that stuff waiting for me. So I did little bits here and there, but I'm really kind of looking forward to tomorrow, where I can actually do like a really dedicated stock my fridge and just feel like I'm fully ready to attack my week.
And that's okay. That's okay to have the ebbs and flows and things change and whatever else. But then it's also good to get back to your routine.
Yeah, because she has her foundation. You have your thing that you do. And, you know, you skip it, and then you get back to it.
Build the foundation. Yep. Just get back to it. So awesome. I love this conversation. It was super fun. Yeah, it was great. So we know how to find you. We love the content. We're excited about it. You are welcome to come chat with us anytime.
To admit that she's going to try. I want to hear it here.
I am going to try. And I told you I was going to try before we recorded, and I just, you know, the holidays.
It wasn't like
the holidays.
Now it's real.
Well, I want feedback. I want to hear how it goes. I'm
going to. I think Sarah and I should get together and do.
Sure. Yeah. Let's do it. And I agree with her. You need to share your journey, because I do feel like a lot of people are you're far more relatable in this whole conversation between at least the two of us. And so seeing your journey now, this is like the next big venture is kind of working on
Food
this.
Is
and
definitely.
So I do think it would be worth it to share your kind of journey into this, because you're starting at square one, really.
Like Lips Heavy eats chicken nuggets.
Don't go changing your Instagram handle yet. We're not quite there. So awesome. Well, Jonica, thank you so much.
You.
I appreciate you spending your time with us. This was a really great episode and a lot of fun.
Thank you so much for coming on, Jonica.
Thank you guys so much for having me. It's been so fun. Thank you.
So thank you. Well, that's all we got for today. So until next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to head over to our Instagram at Nacho Fitness Coach and let us know how you feel about the topic. Do you love it or hate it?
Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe or follow button wherever you're listening. And if you like our podcast, leave us a rating. See you next time.
You've been listening to Euphony Innovatives Sonified.